are back in Celestian Tales, the Old North. And with Isaac's story complete, I am going back to record his journal storyline entries so you can see those. So, starting with Prologue, the Imposter. Well, that was unexpected. I'm not sure which surprised me more, that I am now living in Levantine Castle as a squire on my way to knighthood, or that I have killed someone for this privilege. As much as I want to wash out the guilt by repeatedly saying to myself that I'd be a better noble than him, the feeling keeps gnawing at me every time it can. What's done is done. I can either dwell on that forever, or I can move on with this new life, and make the best out of it. That's the best road to take. For me, for others, for him. Chapter 1, A Knight's Training. The Lord's speech was all but in my ears. My heart raced silently. My eyes kept glancing sidewards at the other 5 squires, checking whether I look out of place. Lord Levant seems to know that something was off with me, but he seemed unable to remember what the real Isaac looks like. Deus. I felt like I could have died right there. The Master-at-Arms calls for me in the stables. I'd guess such a place will have nothing to do with reading, dancing, or smooth-talking. Hopefully it's something I can do and not catch attention while at it. Okay, I didn't notice this a second ago. My eyes kept glancing, checking, see. So far, the only other boy looked the least sharp, so maybe I'll start with him. So you're talking about using Renard as an ally? Miles away from the village that was my home, after killing a boy and taking his identity and sneaking to Levantine Castle as a fake noble. Here I am finding myself shoveling, and they misspell shoveling, dung out of a stable. I'm not complaining though. If it was something that involves reading, I'd be dead by now, but he has no trouble writing. The only carts Godland nobles would send to their villages are the ones that collect taxes. For nobles to give back in return, even if it's to help themselves in the long run, is unheard of in my village. A blade bearer who stems from a commoner bloodline is indeed different. I wonder if these are supposed to be merged together. Oh no. Chapter 2, Fields of Gold. Understandably, the other squires don't seem to like the first of our tasks. Thankfully, there's Lucienne who was used to it and became our topic of discussion. If not because of her, I'm sure I would have gotten more attention than I wanted. War. Now, this is something I can do. Not that I've been in one, but anything practical isn't impossible to learn on the fly. I should start by learning how to stay away from the front lines. It's a weird war, though. I've never heard of a blade bearer lending his sacred sword in command of his army to another person entirely. Out of all the people I can meet in the world, why them? And why here when I'm with the other squires? Thankfully, with Francis away from the scene, it seems only Gina knew who I am. Good thing I took care of her before Sir Lupin came. She could have complicated things. Siding with the villagers to hang them strengthened my image as a people person, as well as eliminate any potential risks. That was a good move. Let's hope my luck keeps up with this. So that's the one dubbed as the Ravager. There's something about him that seems to tug at me. A feeling of fear, as if looking at a predator who can rip you apart in a few seconds. Okay, they need to proofread these a bit. I wonder how Lucienne can survive this long being near him. Call to Battle, Chapter 3. So those are Lady Belanus and the Seneschal. One resides in Godland, and the other in the Seat of Justice, both in the Great Plains where my village was, and still we were milked to death by the nobles. What use are great warriors if they can't bring prosperity to the people? What use are their titles if they can't get their peers to uphold justice? The Geraldines are the kind of people I never want to get close to. They put on a nice and pious mask, but choke their people as close to death as they can. I know. My village was one among many who were under such nobles. So that's what world enders look like. Suddenly I'm glad I didn't join the militia when I was young. Not like I could, anyway, as that would leave my mother doing everything on her own. I can't keep myself from thinking of the soldiers, the unsung heroes who will die in this war to defend the realm. Renard's confidence, and that should be possessive, got the best of me when he mentioned glory. I shouldn't have retorted. Luckily it was just between us squires, else I would have drawn more attention than I'd like. I'm glad we have Sir Artur with us. If he's not the man he is, we'll probably be fighting those monsters in the front lines by now. Instead, we are given guard duty to protect the supplies. Important enough to get noticed, safe enough to stay alive. The best role I can ask for. Bernard was visibly restless, not being in the midst of combat. I can see the other squires, though less blatant, are getting uncomfortable as well. I guess I also felt some kind of guilt, knowing that there were soldiers fighting with their lives on the line just a short distance away, while I was lounging around in the camp. But we were needed here. Without us, that Ender ambush would have wrecked the supplies and ended our war. We did good, if I must say so. And these are definitely getting longer. Chapter 4, Broken City. I've heard rumors of Lord Severin being undefeated in any war he's ever been, but I'd be lying if I wasn't amazed at how smooth this one went. Sure, I wasn't in the Battle of Longtooth Pass myself, but judging from the faces of our soldiers, I'm sure they're just as amazed. How those 3 generals did this is beyond my comprehension. Heathen faith or not, seeing what they did gave me the impression that they're not as dumb as we thought they are. Who knows, maybe they're actually pretty smart, which would be a bad thing. If the city I live in got attacked and pillaged by those giants, I'd hate them as well. Maybe as hateful as that man was, torturing Enders until they became empty husks would do anything he says. Hopefully, I'll never become such a despicable human being. It's arguable whether or not we'd survive without Sir Story back there, but I'd rather have him save us than fight those Enders by an inch of my life. Life is unfair. That's the way it is, especially in a place like this. The more time I spend being Isaac, the more people I'm going to meet who actually knows the boy. It's just 1 or 2 now, but it'll be dozens before long. I have to be ready. I have to commit fully to becoming him if I want a chance at this. So, our task is to take a story to Levantine, while he will be sent to the Outer Realms. Afterwards, we have to send the Seneschal's message to Lord Levant and inform him of what happened. I feel bad for him. He literally sacrificed his future in the realm for our sake. But that's life for you. Chapter 5, Detour. Here's a nice break. I'd take the story's place if I could. Starting over in a foreign land doesn't sound that bad when compared to living another man's life, each day being an inch away from the gallows. But what's happened, happened. He's gone, and we're here, continuing our war. The more I look at Lord Levant, the more he seems to remind me of myself. His indifferent face when we told him of his brother was sent away from heresy. That's the face of a man whose mind is somewhere else. He's hiding something. Something big, I'm sure of it. The detour we took to clean up the Story's house turned out to be useless. Better than finding something that blows up in your face, I guess. Arya burned everything in the stove, and that's it. Chapter 6, End of the World. We've been avoiding the big clashes of this war up until now, but soon we'll be facing the real challenge. Standing with the rest of the soldiers, facing bare-chested, gray-skinned giants swinging axes at our heads. I don't care about glory. I just want to come out of this alive. Something must have happened in that medical tent to make Lord Severin and Sir Artur collide. Whatever that is, with us currently on the losing side of the war, I'm not delighted to see 2 prominent figures being restless. However, this doesn't badly affect the army's morale. Hopefully this doesn't affect the army's morale. If I had to guess who's the most insane and unstable person among the 6 of us, Camille would have been far down the list. Before she told us this idea, that is. Trying to communicate with the Enders through music is almost like trying to tell a dog to do something by jumping around. But hey, some people actually succeeded in training their dogs, so who knows about this? Lord Severin is waiting for us to return with Sir Artur. I don't think he has returned to the front lines. We may be able to find him in his command tent. I hope Lord Durndal can convince him with the plan. I'm not sure Camille can handle the Ravager's sharp gaze, and once again we're missing a possessive. Chapter 7, Homecoming. As much as I hate risking my life in any kind of fight, I have to admit there's something supremely satisfying in winning a war like this. The 6 of us might not have done much, but still, it felt like a victory that belonged to ours. It felt like this victory belonged to ours. Wow, I expected the Ravager to have huge support, but not like this. The way people shout praises at him is almost like worshippers in their demigod. Not that I blame them. Lord Severin is indeed more than the average human being. I, for one, am content enough having survived and will soon be knighted. That's already more than even the greatest commoners can get. I was once like them, hating nobles no matter who they are, thinking that they were all the same. Having tried their shoes, I've seen more than just a black and white world. Perhaps most nobles are still corrupt, money-hungry bastards. Perhaps the ones I saw were merely exceptions. I'm sure Lord Severin doesn't deserve such loathing. I've come a long way from a secluded little village in the Great Plains to this majestic castle. I'm not sure what Mother would say if she knows what kind of man I've become. Would she be proud to have her son knighted? Would she be ashamed knowing her son is an impostor who lied to the whole world? Would she not speak at all, instead let me walk wherever my heart decides? Whichever it is, now's not the time to think about it. I should walk to that audience chamber and face the ceremony that's about to take place. One more step, and I'll be a true noble. This isn't the end, but the beginning of Isaac Golden Lake. And that's it for your storyline journals. So, with that, we can wrap up Isaac's story and move on to the next character. I don't know if it's going to be Camille or Lucienne, but I'll think about it. So, until then, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.